Hello, Merry Meet. So first of all, I am sorry for not having posted a video in a while, but I have been visiting my mother. Now, originally it was planned to be a 1 week visit. I generally go home to visit her once every other month and stay for a week. However, Norway has had the greatest flood in 200 years, and do not worry, I was not in any way, shape or form hurt or affected by it. And I do send out prayers to those that lost their homes. But the railroad tracks sort of ended up underwater. So yeah, took a while to get home because could have taken a plane, but that's expensive. So yeah. But to today's topic. Time magazine had posted an article about witches on TV. I think the article is called Why Witches on TV Spell Trouble in Real Life. And some pagans go ballistic over this. And yeah. So I thought I would discuss the article and what I think about the reactions of some, definitely not all, but some pagans about this. Now, the problem with pagans going ballistic over this article is that they then clearly have not actually read it. Because I actually sat down and read the article. And while I do not think the article is a good one, it is an analysis and a theory about why a certain type of fiction is popular. It is not, and is not meant to be, in any way, shape or form, a commentary on real-life witches. So, the article, and I will link to it in the information box of this video, so you can read it yourself, is basically about that there has been an boom of witch-related TV series lately. You have witches of Eastwick, Sacred Circle, there's one from Nickelodeon, Every Which Way. You have American Horror Story, The Coven. You have witches in several other supernatural themed TV series, such as, for example, Sleepy Hollow, and so on and so forth. And there's Salem, another series. And the article is basically about a theory that the reason why people seem to be so into this particular archetype in their entertainment currently is because of how much trouble there is in the world. There's wars going on, and there's the threat of terror and all of that. And as such, it is comfortable to have this age-old boogeyman in front of them. And I don't agree with the article. I think that it's somewhat simplistic, because I think that while certainly in times of trouble one can see that the interest in horror movies, in horror books, and so on and so forth have always gone up, because it's easier. That provides an escape from one's troubles. However, I think it is far more likely that the reason that, for example, why the witch archetype and the superhero is also extremely popular currently, and so on, is so popular now, is the exact opposite. That when there's so much trouble around, it's comforting to think about people who are the heroes that can come in and save the day, or even fantasize about having such abilities and being able to save the day yourself. But in any way, whatever or not one thinks the article is a good one or not, it is not about neo-pagan modern witches. There are a segment within the neo-pagan community that seems to think that every time the word witch is uttered, it's about them. They seem to forget that there's also a lot of just straight up entertainment. Now, are there some link between real-life witchcraft and entertainment? Yeah, there is. The archetype of a witch, the concept of human beings being able to affect the world around them through magic, is actually based on that having been a practice that has been performed in about every culture in the world to about every time there's been human beings. So it's sort of based on that, but it's still a very, very long step between the two. So literary analysis about a TV series is not a description about Wicca or witchcraft or any of the other witch groups. This reminds me of right after the first Harry Potter movie was made. It's basically on the opening weekend, there was this bunch of neo-pagan witches demonstrating with, they went picketing the movie theaters because the Harry Potter characters, they ride on the broomsticks the wrong way. Oh, sweet goddess, give me strength. I mean, the movie are not trying to depict real-life pagan rituals. It's just trying to be entertainment, and that I think a few people do not understand. Now, I have been a neo-pagan witch for quite a few years. I began as a folk witch when I was 10 years old. Became a Wiccan when I was 14. And yeah, I've been at this for quite some time. And I have to say that I am no way, shape, form, in any way insulted by that article. It's about the current crop of witches in TV series. So, yeah, it seems a lot of people, and of course this is not most pagans, it's a tiny little segment, but that segment seem to think that neo-pagan witches now sort of own the word witch. That if a movie or TV series in any way depict witches in a way they don't like, then it's the end of the world. If somebody makes a discussion about the fiction of witches, then that I don't like them, it's the end of the world. And I mean, there is so much discrimination against pagans. I mean, I heard about a coven just going out into a public wood, doing a ritual, and suddenly somebody calls the cop, and the cops shows up and say, we heard there was something occult going on there. And the leader of the coven said, yeah, there's something occult going on here. And you know what? We have freedom of religion in Norway, so yeah, fuck off. And they were left alone, but yeah, we have people losing their jobs, we have people losing their kids. I heard about a few months ago there was a murder where one kid beheaded another kid because he believed he was a witch. There's so much discrimination, and while every year usually brings that it gets a little bit better, there's still so much real discrimination out there to work against. And getting upset about an article like that, that's just looking for something to be upset and insulted at. And the worst thing is that it sort of makes everybody that speaks up against discrimination against pagans and occultists look like they're idiots. It's the same as, you know, where there was this case a few years ago where a woman contacted our equality department, I think that would be the right way to translate it, quite upset because she had been at one of our big, one of the stores in a big line of electronic stores called Elkjøp. They sell computers and mobile phones and all of that, and she wanted a phone. And she found the phone of a model she wanted, and but however only the black and the blue model were on sale, while the white and the pink model were normal price, and she went ballistic about how this was discrimination against women. Women can't have a black phone? I'm not sure. It didn't seem to compute to her that blue and black are just more common colors, so that phone had been made in so many more, had been made in that color variation so many more times that the store had a surplus of it and therefore sold it cheaper. But anyway, those kinds of things makes people that fight for women's rights look silly. And the same thing when Wiccans, Pagans, witches, occultists and so on go ballistic over things that has nothing to do with being a witch. It just makes us look silly when we then talk about real discrimination. It's about this crying wolf thing. So yeah, and I mean a lot of pagan message boards have been in flames over this article, and really all I have to say to those that go ballistic over it, read the fucking article! Because, I mean, if you can take a little excerpt of it and say, witches represents destructive, blah, 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 and it seems horrible. And then you read the article and you see it's about TV series. It's discussing TV series. It's like if somebody got upset because somebody wrote a bad review about if somebody within the vampire subculture got upset because somebody wrote a review about the vacuum cleaner called Vampire and hadn't much nice things to say about that vacuum cleaner. And yeah, I mean, it has nothing to do with being a witch. So, yeah, I don't really know what more I can say about it other than you needed to separate fact from fiction. Yes, to us who are witches, we take our religion extremely seriously. It's just as important to us as to anybody else who has a religion. But the archetype of the witch is still a literary and fictional figure that are used in fiction, and we have to accept and tolerate that. And you can't then take basically discussion about a TV series as criticism of real-life religious witchcraft. Because the two has really nothing to do with one another. So, yeah, that's what I had to say. I'm going, like I said, to post a link to the article. Read it before you go on to a message board and write out your outrage about this. It's just a theory about why this particular archetype is popular in fiction right now. Nothing else. So if you're going to have a problem with it, please do have a problem with the content of the actual article, not what you believe it say about your religion. That's all I have to say. Have a great day, and blessed be.